Hi guys, welcome back. I am so happy to see you again. This is my first video in my new house and we are doing chicken enchiladas. So this is for a friend of mine who needs some food for her freezer. So I am going to be just making these and putting them away, but I will make a little bit extra for me. So to start off with, we're going to be pressure cooking about 3 pounds of chicken. So I'm doing half thigh meat, half breast meat, and that's just because I like to get the flavor from the dark meat and I like the texture that you get with the breast meat. So I have boneless, skinless thighs here that I'm just going to go ahead and season with some salt and pepper, and then we're going to add in the breast on top of this and season those as well. So this base, this chicken, is something that you can make for so many things. It's just shredded chicken and I do it with salsa. And so this can be used in tacos, salads, whatever. So I have half a cup of broth and a cup of my favorite salsa, which is Mateo's. And I'm doing spicy. You just want something that's not chunky. That way you have the liquid to actually bring it to pressure. And ultimately you really only need a cup of liquid, but let's put on the lid and we're going to seal this and we're pressure cooking it for 30 minutes and then we'll let it natural release completely. So total cook time is about 45 minutes. Just let it go and do your other stuff. I did this and then finished doing my groceries. So, alright, so now we're done. I'm gonna lift this lid off and ooh, look at all that steam. It made my house smell so good. So as you can see, this chicken is just falling apart. It's just perfect, so easy to shred. So we're just gonna get this out of the pot and we wanna reserve this liquid because we are also going to be making some Mexican rice and I like to use this as the liquid for the rice. All right, so let's go ahead and shred up this chicken. Like I said, this chicken can be used for so many different things. Burrito bowls, nachos, you can put it in soup, you can put it in quesadillas, whatever. It's super versatile, just shred it up and you can use it however you want. We just happen to be using it for enchiladas. But again, that was just some broth and some salsa. You don't even have to do the broth, you could just do salsa. Or you could just do broth, whatever you want. It's really up to you. Just as long as you have about a cup of liquid so it'll come to pressure. I do like to put a little bit of the cooking liquid into this bowl just to keep everything moist. Because you just don't want dry chicken in the middle of your enchiladas. So that's what I do. It makes them really nice and juicy. So now that we have this all shredded up, which you can do with your tongs, your hands, your forks, whatever. We're gonna go ahead and get ready for our assembly. So I have shredded cheese, I have tortillas, enchilada sauce, and a pan. So this enchilada sauce is just store-bought because I haven't perfected my enchilada sauce recipe. The pan is small because I'm doing this in smaller portions for the freezer. Normally you use a 9x13 pan. Same process, doesn't matter. But pour a little sauce in the bottom and this will just prevent your enchiladas from sticking to the bottom of the pan. And then you want to grab just swirl it around here like this. Make sure it's all evenly coated. You don't need much, just a little bit. Grab your tortillas. Mine are a mixture of corn and flour. I love the texture that this gives. And you want to dip it in your sauce and this will just make them more pliable and more flavorful. Go ahead and stuff it with some chicken and make sure that you're not going to overstuff it, but yeah, don't skimp. Don't be a little stingy on that. Add some cheese. I'm just kind of using what I had, and so this is some pre-shredded stuff. Normally I would do, grate my own, but this was kind of a last minute thing. Roll it up and just put it in. So we're just going to continue. These little foil tins will hold 4 enchiladas, which For my friend, that's probably one dinner. And but for me that would be 2 meals. So if I do this for myself, I would probably do 4, but then I would have leftovers. And yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and continue to assemble these and get them ready for the freezer. And then I am making a little pan of them just for me, so I'll show you the finished product. Because when you're freezing enchiladas, I recommend that you freeze them unbaked. It's just easier. You're less likely to get them overcooked. They're gonna last longer in the freezer. Just my recommendation. All right, so we'll continue with this process here. So this enchilada sauce I'm using, it's actually Frontera enchilada, so it's organic and really good ingredients in it. I think I try to make my homemade sauce a little too healthy, and so it just never turns out as good. You really do have to have some fat in it. You do. You need some oil. But I am going to work on that because I would like to make my own. Alright, so now you just want to top your enchiladas off with the remaining sauce, just that way they stay nice and moist. And you're going to cover it with some shredded cheese. Again, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel of what I had, and I normally would put more than this. This is what I had. But we're going to get these all sealed up and ready for the freezer. Whenever I do this for the freezer, I will go ahead and write what's on it and the cooking directions, especially if it's for somebody else. So on this, I just wrote bake 350 until bubbly and brown. Now for the rice. So I am going to saute some onions and garlic. And actually I think that this was a shallot just because that's what I had, but typically I use a white onion. And just saute this in some olive oil. And then we're going to go ahead and add in, I'm using jasmine rice. You can use whatever white rice you want. The cooking time will be different. So for jasmine rice, you can follow my directions. And you want to go ahead and toast this up in the oil. And this just gives it a nice nutty flavor, and it helps ready the grains to absorb the liquid. And so it just cooks more evenly, more quickly, and it has like a deeper flavor. So that's nice and toasty, which you can start to smell. And then we're gonna add in this reserved liquid from our chicken. So this, again, is just mostly salsa. You can make this whole thing with just salsa, right? And I'll put the ratios below. I think it's basically 2 to 1. But this does have broth in it. It's broth and salsa, so it's not totally spicy. Bring this to a boil like you do every rice. Give it a nice stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Cover it and turn the flame down to low, and we're going to cook this for about probably 40 minutes. So while that's cooking, my enchiladas are baking and they're getting nice and warm and ooey gooey and delicious. Alright, so our rice is done. It's so fluffy and perfectly done. It's nice and tender. And here we are. So we've got our chicken enchiladas, which I may have forgotten the oven for a second, so they're a little browner than normal. Don't do that. Sorry, guys. And our nice fluffy Mexican rice. This is a crowd pleaser. My nephew loves them. He hates chicken enchiladas, but he loves mine. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight and letting me share my recipes and experiments with you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'd love to hear any recommendations you have for what I can cook next, so let me know in the comments below. And please follow me on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with any updates, and share any pictures or comments if you try out one of my recipes. Well, I hope y'all have a super blessed night, and I'll see you soon. Bye!